We've all been there. You're playing your favourite racing game, going at not so legal speeds, only to crash at a corner and think to yourself, bruh, I wasn't even going that fast. Except, you were. This is true for a good chunk of racing games, especially for hardcore simulators, such as Assetto Corsa, iRacing, and most of all, Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo 6 was my first actual racing game. What a way to start, eh? And I remember really liking the game for its graphics, track selection, and the sheer amount of cars you could mess with. Like, coming from Mario Kart, that shit was next level for me. But when driving, I always felt that something was off, that it felt kinda underwhelming. But then, one day, I went to a friend's house, and well, that lucky bastard had a PS4. By the way, sorry for the muyelo. But anyways, the point is, he introduced me to Drive Club. And holy shit, was that the complete opposite of what Gran Turismo felt like. Yes, Drive Club is more of an arcade racing game, but just look at the difference. Like, that evening, I fell asleep playing Gran Turismo. But why exactly do some racing games feel slow? Initially, I thought that it had to do with FOV, but the more I looked into it, the more I realized that there's so much more that goes into giving the sense of speed. So it is now time to go into Watch Mojo mode, where I will list the top 5 ways of conveying the sense of speed in racing games. Keep in mind that this is mostly based on opinion, and you have all the rights, as a Karen thinks she has, to disagree with me. Kiss my ass. Let's start with the obvious. FOV. So it is true that the wider the FOV, the more it seems like you're going fast. Just look at this comparison. It is a little extreme, but still, it proves the point. For example, in Mexican Forza Horizon, I play with the far camera instead of the regular one, and yes, it does feel faster. Next up, motion blur. No need for words here. Actually, let me plug some shit in the meantime. Up top you'll see channel members, and if you too want to support the channel, have your name in my videos, and use my horrible emojis during streams, make sure to press the join button. Also, make sure to join my shitty Discord server, as well as follow my Twitch, cause I am planning on also streaming there soon. And finally, if you're enjoying this, I invite you to like and subscribe. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
I feel like he is about to crash.
What? Then there's the camera. This is the main problem with racing sims. The camera doesn't fucking move. It's actually not as bad in Gran Turismo as it is, for example, in Assetto Corsa. Like, in that game, the camera is nothing but a massive pile of shit. It stays still when you turn, it stays still when you brake, you can't fucking orbit it around the car. In third person, you have no idea what the fuck your vehicle is doing. It's so bad that it makes me motion sick. First person is decent, but you know, some people also enjoy looking at the car's arse while driving it. Also, camera shake and the distance of the camera relative to your car should be an option in all racing games. Camera shake may be cringe and shit, but it does make you feel like you're going fast as fuck. And having the camera lag behind the car when you accelerate conveys an incredible sense of power. A game franchise that has done this really well is Need for Speed, even though it has kinda sucked at everything else. In particular, Need for Speed Pro Street feels quick in a rather unhealthy way. I mean, just look at this. I acknowledge the fact that hardcore sim racers hate thrills and that camera shake could make them miss the apex by a few centimeters or some shit, but having the option to enable or disable these features would make it so that everyone gets what they want. Moving on, there's sound. This may have been kind of unexpected, But hear me out. Let's say that you get kidnapped.
And this is how it's done.
Shoved in the trunk of a first-gen Mercedes A-Class and blindfolded. Question, how do you tell how fast you're going? It's probably wind noise. Or just the feeling of the car rolling. You wouldn't believe how affected a good and especially loud wind noise would be at making you feel like you're going fast. And on top of that, a good Doppler effect and whooshing sounds for objects you speed past just augment the feeling of speed. Here, the argument that it would affect the cornering ability of hardcore sim racers is just not existent. So please, can we go from this to this? Okay, maybe turn it down a bit. Perfect. And finally, there's road wideness. The wideness, or rather the tightness of the roads, has in my opinion the strongest effect in making you feel like you're going fast. This isn't really addressable in the majority of racing sims, since, well, you're always driving on racetracks, and it's not like the developers can just tighten them. Racetracks are wide by design, so that, you know, you can actually race on them. So in this case, you're gonna have to resort to the other methods I've spoken about. Also, if you can think of other methods to convey the sense of speed, please let me know in the comments, because I'm stupid and I probably missed something. But for open world racing games such as Forza Horizon, which to be fair does feel kinda slow, as another YouTuber called Jake MB said in his video regarding the subject, this could really bring them to the next level. I'm aware of the fact that having completely faithful road dimensions would be shit for playability, but come on, do highway lanes really need to be that fucking wide? This is why GTA 5 feels fucking quick, even though the fastest cars can barely reach 200 km per hour. And it's not like you can't race in that game. So I can confidently say that something in between real life road dimensions and the current Forza Horizon wide boys would be the best of both worlds. But why? Why care so much about the sense of speed? Is it just so that 12-year-old Muya doesn't fall asleep while playing Gran Turismo 6? Well, actually yes, but not entirely. Right now, I am in the process of getting a driver's license, and every time I get behind the wheel, it feels kinda scary, even if I'm just going at 30 km per hour. That's because of the intrinsic risks of driving. Anything could go wrong. This may sound slightly pessimistic, and it is, but it's actually kinda good to be a little afraid of something. It makes your heart beat faster, it releases them good brain chemicals Bear Grylls like so much. Fun is good, but kinda scary fun is even better. Just take roller coasters as an example. The sketchier and faster they are, the more fun you have, until you wake up in an emergency room. You don't really have this feeling while playing most racing games. Like, what's the worst that could happen to you? Another good thing about having a solid sense of speed is knowing your car's limits. This is also linked to realism. If drivers knew nothing would happen to them if they yoinked their car into a wall, we'd have some seriously impressive lap time records. This is why BeamNG Drive, which is an open world sandbox game, actually terrifies you when you're going above 200 km per hour. When you're really immersed in the driving, the mere knowledge that you could potentially end up wrapped around that tree makes you feel things that most other racing games just can't. This is also why GTA 5, despite its slow-ass cars, feels a lot more engaging than proper racing simulators. And that's not considering the fact that you can also yeet pedestrians. Anyways, sorry for the various tangents. I just want racing games to scare the shit out of me. Anyone else?